assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khushamdi. Ji ayanu khuyumorkha. Ishbata bakhair ragli. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Well This Morning, which is a Hashmi today on a very fine, pleasant Monday morning. It is absolutely beautiful over here in the Twin Cities, especially in Islamabad. So I know there are days when I often tell you guys that I love rain and I don't like to see the sunlight. But lately, because it's been so cold, I do enjoy seeing the sunlight, of course. Do write to me to let me know how you guys are doing or how the weather around your area is, because I'd love to read that. Well, we're coming out of a weekend, thus the spirits are definitely lifted. I hope you all had an amazing weekend as well. I did too, alhamdulillah. And well, here's the thing, of course, I had work on the weekend, but for one day, after such a long time, on Sunday I was free and I caught up on some sleep. I tell you guys, I slept for about, I don't know, what, 13 to 14 hours straight. I mean, without waking up in the day and doing my chores, I just ignored everything. And while it's not a good thing to do that, I think once in a while you must do it. I mean, of course, what's better than your own health, right? You need to rest up and you need to catch up on your sleep just to run smoothly. I mean, in terms of your natural cycle too. I am wishing you all that you have a great day ahead, but I do have a sad news to share, and I'm pretty sure that all of you are aware of it as well. So, well, for the past week, we know that one of the legends or the national heroes of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Satpara Sahab, has been climbing or has been attempting to climb the second highest mountain in the world, that is K2, along with two international or foreigner climbers as well. Well, sadly, at at midnight between Thursday and Friday, from Camp 3 of the K2 summit, the three of the mountaineers actually went up to trying to, of course, summit the entire mountain. But unfortunately, they have not been spotted ever since. This has been, I mean, almost 3 days now. And today is the third day that the rescue helicopters are going to continue their mission looking for the three missing mountaineers. Unfortunately, there's been no success so far, but the entire nation, every single Pakistani is actually praying for their safe return. And I mean, of course, we know, I don't know if you guys remember, but this was probably last month or even before that, the Satpara brothers were here. Their father had received a posthumous national award, and mashallah, congratulations to them on doing that. But we really hope and pray that we get to see him back again and safe again, inshallah. You guys can keep praying as well. And as soon as we do get any news on his arrival or on spotting him, PTV World will definitely share the news. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to talk about today? So here's the thing. It's a Monday, and since we are starting a new week, my producer thought that we should talk about something that is important, but often sort of neglected because not everyone has to go through that lifestyle. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You know, Shahzad and I, of course, we try to make our show informative, of course, and then educational too. This is something we have picked up on before. Autism for that matter, or ASD for that matter, or any similar conditions that fall under this spectrum. It may include ADHD or it may include dyslexia. So here's the thing, while of course we talk about special needs or disabilities on physical level, there is still a larger need of recognition of mental conditions or disabilities for that matter. So there are quite some few people in Pakistan who have been working for autism, and I felt like, and this is a personal observation though, for all the people who have been working in the favor of, well, awareness of autism or just educating people on autism and helping people living with autism, they had some personal reasons to do it. For instance, I mean, one of their family members had to go through it, or one of their close friends had to go through it. My only reservation over here is that why do humans have to wait for something, God forbid, bad to happen to them to actually pick up on something to talk about? So for example, I mean, I shouldn't be waiting for to meet a person living with autism to talk about autism. Thus, I feel like we need to talk about this. Every single person in our country, every single person who's watching my show right now, I expect you guys to have the basic knowledge of how to, first of all, treat any person if you come across who is living with autism. And I think it was absolutely best to be in conversation with these two amazing people over here who have not only spent their lives or dedicated their lives now to organize this institution over here in Pakistan for the first time to talk about autism, but they are also training people, educating people, and then, well, educating people living with autism, which means we are seeing a great future. Unfortunately, there are some rough stats of a number of people who are living with autism, and it says more than 300,000, but that is just rough. I mean, these may also be just the reported cases, but there are so many more that we come across, and they might even not know they're living with autism, or the parents are in denial, or the family is in denial. They don't want to let the community know that this is what's going on. So this one is going to help all of you out there who might be looking for someone to, hair out their journey of autism probably, or the parents who are actually looking for an organization to send their kids to, or anyone that your loved one, needs to go to this institution if they're living with this condition. I know I have already spoken a lot, but there's still just much more to go on. So let me just be introducing my guest over here, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I have the person who happens to be the CEO of this organization. She's also an amazing philanthropist. The organization is actually called Pakistan Autism Health Sciences Research Foundation. She is none other than Sana Azhar Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Sana.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you so much. Next to Sana, we have someone who happens to be, of course, her partner in life, but in this entire venture as well. He happens to be a social activist, retired Major Syed Azhar Shah. Hello, assalamu alaikum, sir. Good morning.
You're welcome to.
So it's great to have you both on my show because, well, I already mentioned and I think I spoke for hours and hours on how important it is to talk about this. So Sana, treat me as a person who does not know anything about this and tell me about autism and how could I detect if my child may be autistic or something.
It is basically condition. Well, sometimes people say they are patients, but they are not patients. They are human beings with different thoughts, with different, they like to learn differently. And it is known basically as an intellectual difficulties.
Okay.
But people say, most of the people say disabilities.
Right.
So there are different thoughts of schools.
Okay.
My son was autistic, and I diagnosed him for the very first time when he was 7 years of age.
You did yourself?
Yes, I did it.
How so?
In Pakistan, everyone said he has a CP or mental retardation.
Oh.
But for me, it was not like that. When I have seen people with CP and nigger and other disabilities,
Okay.
I thought, no, this is not the same. I started searching on web and I called other organizations abroad. Then I came to know, oh my God, this is autism spectrum disorder. I went all around Pakistan to the doctors, to the neurologists, to the pediatricians, what actually is wrong with my son.
Okay.
First of all, I never cried.
And that's the best part, I think, yes.
Yes, because I wanted to help my child and, of course, myself, because he's a part of my life.
Of course.
So I was thinking about his future. After that, I came to know he have autism spectrum disorder. Then I started helping other people. I started to aware other mothers. I went to other organizations in Lahore, and I worked voluntarily. Then I joined Rotary International for this cause to aware more people, because it's a huge platform and many club members. There are many clubs. So I thought it's a huge platform and it will be easier for me to go there and aware them. Then I created my own club. After that, I have thought about it that there are lots of centers.
Right.
After years, not at that moment, but after years. We have lots of centers who are working with smaller children, like not more than 13 or 16 years of age. But my son now is 21.
Okay,
and that came to me in my mind when I went to Italy. I saw there are children and adults with autism who are working in different places, organizations, companies, and they are going to schools, they are going to the institutions, the colleges. So why not in Pakistan? They also should have a right to have educated in normal schools.
Absolutely.
They should not be in only a center and having puzzles there.
Absolutely.
They need to have skill-based trainings.
True. Ms. Sana, and this is amazing, of course, and I need to talk in detail about that. But before we do move on to how you came across the idea of creating an institution, let's talk about, Major Saab, rather you or any one of you may answer this. This is basic knowledge about autism, and I will be learning along with you guys. So it may not just occur in kids or adolescents. It may occur to anyone. First question. Yes. Secondly, is it genetic always necessarily? And thirdly, is it, since we say if it is genetic, what happens with the missing or the extra chromosomes? I mean, is it normal to lead a normal life?
primarily, when you talk about autism,
Yes.
in Pakistan, the biggest problem we have uh, from the onset, when we teach students doing the MBBS, if you go to the mainstream,
Yes.
there's only one pager article about autism in the complete 5 years of MBBS.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
And when we started taking our kids to various specialists, the moment we would refer the name autism, the doctor will start looking at our faces.
Okay.
So,
As if it's something alien.
as if something is alien.
Yeah.
So, that forced us to probe in more, to get more knowledge ourselves. Because the more you get yourself equipped,
Yes.
the better it is for you. And unfortunately, in Pakistan, when you talk about autism, there are very few people who had knowledge,
Oh,
and many of them they've used that knowledge for their own benefit.
okay.
And autistic children world over, they are the costliest children around.
Yes.
How so?
The therapies are very costly.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, to tackle that, you got to equip yourself. And for us equipment people, ourselves and others, the best way is to spread the knowledge.
And it is so important, absolutely.
We also need government to support this cause. It
All
is really
right.
important because these children are felt in schools and colleges and universities, but they don't know, like Asperger's, they look just normal,
Yeah.
you know, and they are actually normal, but they think differently.
But they also
study
need
differently.
special attention, if I would
Yes,
say. Of course,
yes.
the normal, but you
The
know, Sana,
curriculum, the system of education, they need skill-based system. We need to know what they actually can do.
now here's the thing. When we talk about Pakistan Autism Health Sciences Research Foundation, you guys are amazing at, first of all, well, researching the community itself and then providing relevant stats for Pakistan, which was important because it didn't
It is
exist. Now, you tell me, when we talk about denial or social exclusion for that matter, or isolation for that matter, it's normal. In Pakistan, you would expect that because it does begin at family level. I mean, you know, neighbors or friends or people outside
Or
come
log
on
kya
later
kahenge.
on. Log kya kahenge comes later on because the parents, first of all, don't want to expect it,
Yes.
accept it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you are training people on how to deal with people living
Yes.
with autism.
Yes.
That may include
Counselling as
family.
well.
Yes, let me know all about it, please.
Yes, it is about counseling. We counsel the parents as well because I must tell you,
Okay.
when the children come to us in our office, they are only with mothers.
Okay.
Like very less number of in parents, very less number of fathers. They come along.
Okay.
And then they say, oh, it's quite expensive. Why should I spend money on this child? I'm spending money on my son, the other son who is going to the private school, and I'm paying very high. So they think that these children cannot do anything. So why should you spend money first? So we need support from a government to help these children and to train people, to train parents as well.
Right.
We need to train the institutions. We need to train the schools.
Yes.
If schools are trained, they will never be thrown out of the school. First thing.
Yes.
Second, we need a proper research in Pakistan
Absolutely.
with genetics also.
Okay.
When it will be in chromosomes, like we will say, yes, this child have 21 chromosomes, autism.
Yes.
So there will be no more denial,
Okay.
and that child will be helped. So genetic test is important, which is not here in Pakistan.
All right.
So I believe that awareness first is really important, and supporting the parents is also important.
All right, this sounds great, but here's the thing, Major Saab, I want you to talk about, first of all, because your organization is self-sustained in a way that you're running on charity or donations. It's a private company, right?
Yes, it
A
is.
non-profit, of course.
Yes.
So I want you guys to talk about all the stakeholders, all the donors, the people who are definitely interested in benefiting the organization. But hold on to that thought, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading out to a very short break, and I'll tell you why. Because when we come back, we will be actually joined by a psychologist over here who will talk about people, what they go through if, first of all, their family member or even themselves, they are living with autism.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a perfect blend over here, so stay tuned to find out more. Good morning.
The National Mosque of Pakistan and is named after the late King Faisal bin Abdulaziz of Saudi Arabia, who supported and financed the project. It is the largest mosque in South Asia and one of the largest mosques in the world. The Faisal Mosque was the largest mosque in the world from 1986 until 1993, when it was overtaken in size upon the completion of the Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca, Morocco. Subsequent expansions of the Masjid al-Haram, the Grand Mosque of Mecca, and the Masjid al-Nabwi
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned to PTV World. You're watching World This Morning along to the very amazing Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Ehsan Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, where we are actually talking about autism and how everybody might feel when we talk about exclusion of such children, or we probably are not moving in the direction of inclusion, where we're talking about inclusive education. I think it's very important to kind of, calculate how hard of an impact it is on all of those parents and kids in terms of psychology. I think, and this is something which is very important, mental health. We have been advocating about it for a longer period of time. So we wanted to contribute to this segment. So, which is why we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a consultant psychologist. He's been a regular on the show as well. A great gentleman himself. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Professor Dr. Mazhar Iqbal Bhatti Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Good morning.
Thank you, Shahzad. I'm fine. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. So, Shiza, please lead the conversation.
All right, so before we do get to our favorite psychologist over here, Dr. Bhatti, I actually wanted to talk to you both about, when we talk about a non-profit organization, you're literally looking towards donations, right? Or people, if they are interested or when they're interested, you'll get it, right? So how does it sustain? Because this is something, of course, I'm sure you guys are not looking to shut down in the next year or two. So what do you think about the sustainability and how will it go on, inshallah?
People ask me, when are you running back to Italy and you're not coming back? I said, no, I'll not do that.
Okay.
Because Allah made it for the people, and inshallah it will be run. So the problem is awareness.
All right.
Lack of awareness is the main issue. People want to help people here in Pakistan, lots of people. But the thing is, they don't know, why are we going to support the organization for autism spectrum disorder? They have seen small, centers everywhere, but they don't know that these children can live independently.
Okay.
But they don't have a place. Like this concept, when I created this organization, the concept was after us.
Yeah.
What will happen after
Yes.
I'm not here? What will
God
happen
forbid.
to my son? Who will take care of him? What will he do? So that was the main concept. When I thought about it, I said, "Mera beta kahan rahega?"
Who'll take care of him?
Yeah.
Sincerely.
So, this organization will take care of these children, inshallah. We will make a house, which I've seen in Italy. It was with the name of Casamia, my house.
Yeah.
So it's a huge organization in Italy, in Sicilia. And they told me that Sana, they live here, they work here, they get educated here, and this is their home in 800 acres.
Wow.
And that's
It is a huge city.
Yeah, and that too in Italy.
It is in
Yeah.
Italy.
So Major
and they
Saab-
have a law as well for
Okay.
them. So the government support them. There is 46 pages of law. So I wanted to bring that law here to implement it, and they will be taken care by the government as well.
Wonderful.
Okay, this sounds great, and we really hope, inshallah, soon we get to see this model in Pakistan as well.
Inshallah.
So when we're talking about, you said that they were living there, they had great employment opportunities and
Yes.
whatnot. So you are bringing businesses over there in your facility, which
Yes,
will employ
inshallah.
the people there. Please
Yes.
enlighten us more.
Primarily, there are 3-4 things to start with. One is like you create an organic farming facility.
Okay.
These children, they work there. Whatever you produce, then you make a restaurant attached
Okay.
to it. Certain kids, they work in that restaurant. Whatever they sell, that comes back to them.
Okay.
That is being spent on them. Then you produce or you construct certain guest houses at a good location.
Yes.
They'll be the caretakers,
Nice.
and whatever profit you people are getting, that is utilized on them.
Wow.
Then ultimately we want to create a research facility,
Okay.
which in Asia, if you see at this moment, we don't have any facility of that kind. What Sana was referring about Sicilia, they have a state-of-the-art facility. We are in collaboration with them, and at certain stage, we will bring in that facility to Pakistan.
Inshallah. That sounds
When we
amazing.
create that facility here, ultimately we'll be receiving people from all around the Asia to Pakistan,
definitely,
and then that will be bringing us business back.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we don't want to rely upon the donors till the end.
And this does look very sustainable.
This is just the first raindrop that is difficult.
Yeah.
Later on, everything becomes easy.
Exactly, and that's what we want as well. And since Miss Sana just said Kasamia, you know, our house, I think that there's this quote, Professor Saab, which I've been using for a longer period of time with my friends and family. That is, mi casa, su casa, mi casa. Whatever is mine is yours. Whatever is yours is mine. And this is what I truly dream of. You know, when we talk about our own society, this is what I want. This is how I want my society to behave. But when we talk about people who are autistic, people who are actually born with Down syndrome, or kids, in fact, for that matter, you know, we haven't really reached a point where we are even talking about how to make it look normal, how we really do not have to be very sympathetic towards all of those parents. But in the first place, it's the parents who are always in denial. I think that this is very important psychologically to speak about. What would you say, rather, to all of those parents who, fortunately or unfortunately, have to go through this situation? Because so far, for all of those parents I've come across, they might be in denial, but they love their kids. Doesn't really matter if they were born with a Down syndrome or if they were born
Of
autistic.
course. I mean, natural, right?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's very good question from Shahzad. It is in Pakistan, it is more important issue because any special child is getting a special attention by the parents, by the psychologist, by the counselors. And you know, these people are not only deserving, basically these people are the special people, and we would have to provide all those resources or services to improve their functioning, daily functioning.
Exactly.
As you know, in the Fountain House Lahore, they have the rehabilitation centers. I worked in 1998. They have all of the facilities in under one roof. They are providing the counseling, special skills, speech therapy, and a lot of others medicine-related issues. They have a consultant psychiatrist, and both are this is going to be handled by the group of the consultants, because every child needs some sort of medication. Might be the second child, the other child is not receiving or need the medicine, he just need the counseling or psychotherapies or individual sessions or a group therapy where people are going to share the experiences, and at the same time that rehabilitation center manage the parental groups.
Exactly.
And they give them education to handle their kids.
Exactly.
Regarding to handling of their kids. This is more ignored area, as Madam Sana said, that in Pakistan it is a more need to work on this special area or special people. We have the lot of centers, or you can say schools, artistic schools in Islamabad, Lahore and Karachi,
Okay.
but actually they are in initial phases.
Okay.
And government level, they should support them as much as they can. But we need the legislation, as Madam said, we need the legislation over here to combat the situation and to make those standards which we see in the international level.
Sir, I'm
Absolutely.
very sorry, but I'm going to disagree over here, because I
With
think,
what?
I believe that legislation is actually going to be somewhere up there in the ladder. I think that the first phase where we really need to put our heads to is that, you know, for example, if we are talking about a child who's autistic or were born with Down syndrome, or God forbid if there was,
ADHD
or,
like that.
or if there was something wrong with them as well, unfortunately. What I'm trying to say over here is that all of these children are not actually in capacity to make a decision or take a decision for themselves in life. Now, what we really need to do is that, you know, for a normal person, you know, when we talk about mental health or when we talk about psychological well-being, even a normal people, what we call normal, are not even so well aware of how mental health is so important. Now, for somebody who's not well aware of their own mental health, how do you think they'll be focusing or talking about people who cannot even take the right choices about their own life? We need to educate them. How do we do that?
Yes, of course, no doubt we need to work on the that level where these people can support by the society.
Okay.
Because they are living in the society and society is responsible for these deprived people. We collectively manage on the level of the society, but individually we should have to focus on the child, basic assessment. That assessment indicates the level of the problem, and then according to the level of problem, we would have to make the management plan of the child.
Right.
True.
And after that, it is not for one visit, it is not for two visits completion. It will take a lifetime because
Lifetime
these
disorders.
mental illnesses carries throughout the life, and we will have to build the capacity of those individuals. They can survive on their own self.
Absolutely. And you know what, when we talk about the demographics of where the person is coming from, or the socioeconomic conditions for that matter, if it's urban or rural, it does not matter. It can occur to anybody, right? Now, I'm actually going to take you guys back to just a minute ago when you were disagreeing with Dr. Sab over here about the legislation that we need. I think it's not, I mean, it's very easy for a lot of people to come here, use our platform and say that government ye nahi kari, government wo nahi kari.
Yes.
It's not just, the government
Matter
is
of
not
government.
going to give you capital for everything. It's not that you have to look for money towards the government ke aap paise denge to hum aage karenge. We're talking about legislation here. So it was, I mean, lately the physical disabilities were recognized by the Constitution. When we talk about mental disability, especially people belonging to this spectrum, it's way different. All we need, or all we're talking about, is the need of a legislation. We're not talking about, I don't know, money for that matter.
Support by the government.
Yes, of course. So you
Primarily,
guys,
I would like to add one thing to it. Like you said yourself, that there is a law that exists for the physical
physically
disabilities.
disabled, yes.
And initially we discussed the problem the parents are facing, that is denial.
Yes.
The greater problem being faced is denial at major level.
Okay.
There was a conference held in the National Assembly pertaining the laws and pertaining creating solutions for disabilities.
All right.
The only thing discussed during the complete conference was physical disabilities. We were the only parents representing intellectual disabilities.
Can I tell you
And
something about
none
that?
was ready to listen to it because
And my son
they
was
don't-
roaming around over
They
there.
don't have the understanding.
Exactly.
But sorry to say this, and it's going to sound bad, but can I tell you why there was no represent? So we know about this very meeting or whatever was going on about physical it's great. It's great being Pakistanis to see that actually this is being taken up at that high level. But that is because the person who is going to arrange this entire thing might have a personal interest. Maybe their daughter or son is physically disabled, right? Or has special needs physically, which is why they're going to take this up. So if someone comes in power who may have some loved one who is suffering or dealing with autism, they will do something about autism.
That time is going to come very. That time is going to come very soon.
Okay.
Because the speed with which autism is increasing day by day. About 13 years back, it was 1 out of 1,000.
Yes.
Today, it is 1 out of 46 or 54.
Oh, wow. It's
So
insane.
it is spreading like pandemic.
Yes.
But we are not ready
to
That
We
is the
don't
major
even know
problem we are
what the
faced.
numbers are in Pakistan.
And
We should know the
You know,
numbers.
from the last research, what I could get out was that there's a total 15% population of people who are living with disability or autism or other
No, it's
problems
more
as
than
well.
that. No.
But
But
that's not what the problem is. Now, you know, since we spoke about the parents
Yeah.
as well, I think it's high time that we speak about the teachers and the schooling staff as well, because we are
Definitely.
talking about an intellectual disability.
Yeah.
Now, for me, it was very hard to understand mathematics ever since I was in school, and I was a horrible student with maths. And no matter what happens, you know, you can not always slap a child so that to make him learn. You know, there are days in life when you cannot understand or comprehend a situation, and this is what we call intellectual disability. That's it. You know, you cannot understand it. There's no other way that somebody can make you understand.
And it's okay.
So I
And
also
imagine
want,
that the teachers over here are not so very well equipped that they cannot
Yes.
understand the incapacity of a child of not understanding a single word.
Yeah.
How do we do that? You know, one by one, I want each and every one of you to speak about it.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, I want to shock you
Sure.
with something. I'm with ADHD.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
No?
True. So the thing is that it is not a disability basically. It's it's your
Condition.
brain that is thinking differently. It,
Yeah.
like some people are practical learners, some people are visual learners. My daughters they were always like thrown out of the schools
I'm a
because
visual
they
learner,
were
by
with
the way.
high
Yeah.
IQ level. And one of my daughter is now a celebrity of Pakistan, mashallah, in gaming, in
Oh,
esports, and she's the
amazing.
pioneer of this esports.
Mashallah.
She's the first female gamer of CS:GO and Dota.
We'd love to have her on our show, actually.
Yeah, sure. And she has brought so many brands, gaming brands in Pakistan. She is the brand ambassador of so many gadgets. And she was a TEDx speaker. And the topic was Log Kya Kahenge, because she was a female gamer.
Yeah.
Now she's a caster and streamer. And she's quite famous. And she was the child that schools were used to tell me, please, isko kahin bhai later, take her somewhere else. She's not a student of Pakistan, you know.
Okay.
She should go abroad
Okay.
and learn. So the problem is that we should change the system of the schools. We should not throw them out. They are, you know, they are the diamonds of our.
Of course.
They are the stars of
They're the
our
gems.
Pakistan. In other countries, Bill Gates can be there, Einstein can be there, Steve Jobs can be there.
Elon
Why
Musk can
can't
be there,
Yeah. Beethoven. So why don't we
Yes.
have these
All such
children?
stars, yes.
And we should support them. My daughter, the youngest daughter, she's 17. She was in Sicilia and she got tested, the blood test, and she had the genetics test.
Okay.
She was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, 21 chromosomes.
Yeah.
And everyone was used to tell me, why do you say that my children are different? They are not, they are just normal children. I said, yes, they are normal people, but I
Yeah.
want to tell people that this can happen. So
Absolutely.
please do not deny it. I'm very much proud of my children.
Exactly.
They're really,
Mashallah.
you know, every day they make me proud and I learn from them.
And I think you
So-
should be prouder because, you know, that's the sole reason that you're over here. You have an organization. You're thinking
Yes,
for
because
not
of
just your
them.
children, but other children as well,
Because of them,
which I believe is great. Moving on to Professor Saab now. Now, Professor Saab, I believe this is something, since we've been doing this show for, alhamdulillah, now 8 years, you know, we come across so many
Yeah.
people. And we have been advising them that, you know, within our own schools, we should have a system where we have a mental check meter, probably,
Yes.
mental illness check
Yeah.
meter, or, you know, probably, you know, psychologists coming in, you know, just having a little conversation with students, thinking if they're doing fine or not. Because in today's time, everybody is really busy. Everybody is really caught up. You know, the cost of living has gone up. Everybody needs to work. Everybody needs to pool in. So one way or the other, you know, in between all of these problems, there's lesser time with parents to spend with their kids as well. How do you think that we can actually have a syllabus or probably teams within the schools who are going to keep a check on whether our students are mentally fit or not?
Yes. Firstly, I would like to respond to the previous question that how we can handle the situation, because the situation is going to be worse day by day.
Exactly.
Yes, of course, no doubt. We have to manage by putting psychologists in the schools. They make the assessments, because in the developed countries, you see, they have these type of the facilities. A person is going to be behave little bit abnormal, they just refer to psychologists. And psychologists make the assessment. either the problem is intellectual dysfunctioning, either the problem is related to intelligence, either the problem is related to memory.
Okay,
Yes.
can I stop you over here? Because,
Yeah.
you know, I think that
Yeah.
this is something which I would love to ask, since you happen to be one of the finest psychologists over here as well. Do you think that we can work around intellectual disability, or probably, you know, with age, you can recover from that?
Yeah, it's more difficult because when someone is going to diagnose having some sort of intellectual or mental disabilities, then it is more difficult to give the complete relief or the treatment. You can manage the problem by educating the parents, by educating the kids, by educating the societies, because society feel the stigma.
Yes.
You know, people are not going to admit that my child is having this problem or suffering like this mental disabilities. We should understand that no, this is the time to recognize these people, because they have, if they are losing one mental capacities, might be they have the rest of the best abilities, and we should put those abilities for the utilizing to produce the positive role of the individual.
Exactly,
I
but
like-
there's,
yes.
there's one more important aspect which I want to discuss, since we're very short on time, but I will ask, since my brother-in-law happens to be a psychiatrist as well. And, you know, when the entire Malala incident took place, you know, Malala was actually being looked after by him. There's one thing which I cannot get my head around, and that is that, you know, with, for example, if there's something wrong with my blood, you know, they're going to take a blood sample. You know, there's something wrong with my bone, they're going to do an X-ray. But with mental illnesses, you take a multiple choice questionnaire, you give it to me, and you like fill it up, and then that's when we are going to decide whether you're mentally fit or not. This is something I cannot get my head around.
No, no, Shahzad, this is, I think, one side of the assessment. We have the projective test, we have the subjective test, and all those combination of those psychological tests that can screen out the problem of
But
the
we still
individual.
cannot be sure about it, right?
Yeah, we cannot sure, we cannot labelize 100%, but we can assess the mental abilities or mental disabilities.
Right.
This
So we
is the
might
time-
be labeling people very wrongfully. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no. I disagree
Sometimes it
totally.
is there.
But,
Primarily,
you are
labeling
mixing
is
two things. You
wrong.
are mixing two
One by
things.
one, yeah.
The role of psychiatrist and the role of clinical psychologist.
Yes.
The role
We
of
don't need
psychiatrist is just to
psychiatrist.
prescribe the mental psychiatric medicine.
Okay.
The role of clinical psychologist to assess the child, to make the management plan and give the relief to the parents and the
And
kids.
yet they have to work together to figure it out, but still they're not willing to work together. Psychiatrists and psychologists are not willing to work together. So
I think that's
the
a
problem.
different debate, but since we shortened...
Sorry, Shahzad,
There is a
they
reason.
are working together.
Okay.
On international level and in the national level.
All right.
Okay.
I can show you.
Okay.
There's a team of psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and rest of the social activists.
Right.
They are working together.
Dr. Saab, that sounds great, and inshallah, we hope that works for the betterment of the nation and people who are in need as well. But since we're very short on time, Ms. Sana and Major Saab over here, I want you both to give a closing note, or actually give out a message to everyone watching out there about your organization, and if they are going through what you guys went through, what they should do. Please speak to them.
They should
This is your
first,
camera.
Okay. First, they should get to know what actually autism is and how they can help their children. Please do not deny your child that why should I say that, okay, they are with special needs and what people will think about my child. Basically, you're helping your child and yourself. This is a really important aspect of your life, that you love your child. So first thing is you should better run and move to the centers who are helping you. And second, I must tell you that we need a neuropsychologist here in Pakistan, which we don't have. Now, the answer to your question is that we need neuropsychologists because they study the brain of autism. We don't have it.
But yeah, that's a
Yeah, but people don't know. much.
Exactly. Makes sense.
I'll just shortly say one thing, and that is primarily denial comes from stigmatization.
That is true.
So for that, I'll refer to the religion.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in Quran, Allah says very categorically that Allah Ta'ala kisi par uski bardasht se zyada boj nahi dalta.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Accept that fact and consider it that you have more patience, more endurance than the other normal parents, so-called normal parents. That is why you have been given additional responsibility. You are the chosen ones.
That's beautiful.
Wonderful
Absolutely
message.
beautiful.
Wonderful message. Professor,
Sir, I
anything
would
you
like to
want
ask
say?
the parents as well as the kids as well as the society to contribute for this special problem of the mental health related issues I think we all are the responsible, parents are the responsible, society are the responsible, and give the space to the kids because they are sufferer, they are lacking, they are the deserving. We are not only sympathizing the things, we have to give the solution, we have to work with them, we have to spend the time, we have to share the things with these deprived segment of the society. Then it would be the
A holistic approach to-
holistic approach would be the solution of this issue.
Absolutely. And I think this was an amazing show, Shahzad. It was so well educational and informative for me as well. Thank you all for being here.
And contributing.
I have a small understanding of something that I want to share with everyone
ahead.
out there as well. And I got it even better after. Okay, so it's a show called Undone. This is just a reference for all of you guys who need to watch this. And I feel like people who do live with mental conditions, for example, autism for that matter, this entire syndrome, or schizophrenia for that matter, I mean, so many different conditions. Imagine that a normal human brain actually works about 5%. So roughly saying, and I'm just going to make a frame of reference. So for example, you have a normal human brain, you will have 5 boxes open and working right at that moment. But people who do live with special conditions, they are so smart, Shahzad, they have the ability to use and utilize at least 9 boxes of their mind at the same time.
At the same
So imagine of all the spectrums that we can see in terms of colors or in terms of hearing, they have even more ability. It's just really interesting.
Exactly, it's wonderful and it's fantastic, and I think I'm just going to go with what Major Saab said as well, ladies and gentlemen, कि अल्लाह मियाँ जो है वो किसी की बसात ज़्यादा उसके ऊपर जो है वो बोझ नहीं डालता. मेरा ख्याल है this is the message for everybody out there as well. And right now, I think that there's a wonderful message for our viewers.
Yes, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of our cameramen over here, Sheikh Saab, we all love him. His niece and nephew are actually celebrating their wedding anniversary today. So, Waqas and Narmisa, wishing you a very, very happy wedding anniversary. You guys live in Lahore, we know, but we really hope our wishes get you over there. MashaAllah, lovely pictures
and
as well.
And Waqas or Misa, I think there's only one thing which I'm going to tell you. वही जो Major साहब ने कहा था कि अल्लाह किसी के ऊपर उसकी औकात से ज़्यादा बोझ नहीं डालता. So we hope that you guys are going to have a great life together as well. Please make sure that you turn out to be great parents and that you're great partners as well.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you learned anything from us, or if you still have questions, do write to us on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you look for PT World, then the most viewed show on PT World is World This Morning, alhamdulillah.
And the repeat of this one.
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take care.